So tonight we're going to talk about what a person needs to start with flash photography. It be a brand new photographer or somebody moving from natural light and wants to experiment with flash photography. Well, I'm Clay Souza. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and we're watching 808 with Clay at Clay Souza Official. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, you watch a replay of our live. We go live every Monday and Wednesday on our Instagram feed, which is Clay Souza Official. That we talk about flash photography, we talk about composition, we talk about posing, we talk about the three pillars of an amazing photography, which are lighting, composition, and posing. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I would really appreciate if you could just hit the subscribe button there and help us out to grow this channel and help more people, right? So there you go. So what are you going to talk about tonight? I got this question with me, like, what do I need to start with flash photography? Hey, Anna, this is one of the questions that came. This is what prompted this live, because I think there's still a lot of doubts out there. What to buy, what do I do, what I don't buy, what works and what doesn't work, because there is a sea of products out there, and if you don't know what you're buying, or I mean, how do you know, right? I think all of us, more experienced photographers, when we started, we ended up buying things that we don't use anymore. I've been trying throughout my whole career as a photographer, I've been trying to be very, hey Adam, been trying to be very smart with my money and not buy a lot of stuff that I don't need. I'm not like, I don't buy stuff like, I'm not an early adopter, that's for sure. But there is just this idea that, you know, to get good photography, you have to buy these expensive lights or have all these expensive cameras and everything. And let's be honest, photography is not cheap. It's not everything. Photography is, you know, is expensive. But what you need to think, the way you need to approach this, I guess, is if you buy a camera, if you have a decent camera, right? If you buy a flash, okay? If you buy a trigger, and if you buy a modifier, you're in business, right? It's a very low investment to start a business, and that's it. So Zani is saying, I bought everything and used like 10% of it and then bought new stuff yearly. That's right. So sometimes some people, you know, who can afford a little bit more, buy everything, and you really, I mean, anyway, it gets complicated. So, and that's why I'm doing this live here today, because I got this question: what do I need to buy if I want to start with flash photography? And I want to lead you guys in the right direction. Okay, so of course, if you're going to start with flash photography, you need a flash, right? You need a speed light. This is called a flash. And let's get this terminology out of the way. Flash is like everything that flashes, right? This is called flash because it flashes. This is what we call the speed light. Okay. And then you have the strobes, which are the bigger flashes, right? They call strobes. In the past, these strobes, because they output so much light, these strobes had to be plugged into a wall. They would be like studio strobes. The only time you could use them would be in a studio, because you had to have an outlet to plug them in, right? Today, with the technology, you can put, you have batteries that you can take them all over, right? So strobes is not something that is more, it's a studio light anymore, but I digress. The only difference between a speed light, which is this guy over here, to a strobe, is a big one, is the amount of light. This guy has about 50 watts of light, right? And a strobe can get up to 600. I don't know if, I think there's 1200 now, but the ones that I have 2600. They're plenty for me to do what I need to do. So If you want to start with flash photography, of course, you have to have a flash. You have to have a flash, right? So the one that I use, and there is some consideration I'm going to talk about when you choose which flash, because I can say, oh, you just get a flash, but which one? There's so many out there today. One of the things that I keep saying over and over and over, and I'll keep saying this because this is what happened to me, and I don't want it to happen to anybody. When you're buying flashes, when you buy lighting equipment, don't buy into a piece of equipment. Buy into the ecosystem, right? Buy into, because, let me step back a little bit here. This guy here is going to do it. If you are a flash photographer, you know, this is where we start, right? But pretty soon, you're going to start adding more light to your arsenal, right? This is really cool. You can do a lot of this, but you're going to at least buy another light, another flash, or another strobe. And then you're going to buy another one, and suddenly you have a bunch of them. And why do I say to buy into a ecosystem? Because you want these guys to talk to each other. When I say talk to each other, you want this guy here to be controlled by one trigger, and this guy and all of his friends, you want them to be controlled by the same trigger. If you buy different brands, what happens is this guy here is be controlled by one trigger, and another flash that you have from another brand, you're going to need another trigger to control both of them. One to control this one, and another one to control a second trigger, right? That's why it's important to really buy into a ecosystem, not buy into a piece of gear. So, and bottom line is, when you buy your lighting equipment, if you're starting to buy your lighting equipment now, think 5 years down the road, where I'm going to be where I want to be 5 years down the road. Because 100% true, you're going to start with one light, but you're going to buy more. And when you incorporate more light into your arsenal, into your camera bag, you want those lights to talk to each other, to make it easy to manage. All right. So, as a disclaimer, I will have to mention brand names here. I have no affiliation with none of those brands I'm going to talk to. I'm not sponsored by any of them. I'm not an ambassador for any of them. I'm just giving you what I use every day in my photography, what works for me. Okay? So I think it's very important to say this. So we don't get confused here. So the one that I use is the Zoom, the Flashpoint Zoom Lion. What's that? I don't even know. Zoom Lion R2. It's a manual and TTL flash. Okay, it shoots manual and also it shoots TTL. If you don't know what TTL stands for through the lenses. TTL. Think of TTL as a kind of an auto mode for your flash, right? You're going to put this, you're going to put in TTL, the lens is going to measure the light, send a command to the flash and say, this is how much power we need to light that subject, or to light this scene, okay? And also has manual mode, which is manual mode, you dial everything yourself. This is my favorite mode to shoot, but that's a little bit more advanced conversation. But let's say this guy here is the one that I use, right? This is speed light, this is the Flashpoint Zoom Lion R2. Okay, I have 5 of those. They work well with me because I'm a wedding photographer. I like my reception lighting with my speed lights, and they work great. Okay, so that's first thing you need. Of course, you're going to be a flash photographer. You need to buy a flash. One flash. Start with one flash. And I'm going to tell you why later. Let me just say hi to people here. Visual Vibes 27, thanks for joining. Adam Gonzalez, thanks for joining. Yep. It's been 5 minutes I have learned. I never knew what TTL was. There you go. Learn something new, right? Through the lenses. That's what it is. Okay, a flash. Second thing that you're going to need some type of modifier. What's a modifier? Modifier is something that you put in front of the flash and change the light. It makes it softer, it makes it bigger, it makes it specular or diffused, which is something that I need to talk about someday, because there's confusion in the terminology. What's specular and diffuse? People confuse diffused light with soft light. Not really, not the same thing, two different things. But that's a whole different subject that we need to talk about someday. So we need to put some modifier in here to make this light softer, maybe, if that's what you want. Because, so if you look at my face here, all right, so I have, I don't know if it's mirrored or not, I have light on one side of my face and shadows on the other side of my face. You see the transition from light to shadow, how soft it is? It is because I have a soft light source here on my right. Okay, so this guy here, because the head is too small compared to my subject. Let's say if I'm the subject, comparing this head to my head, this head is really small. It throws a hard light. Okay, we create hard shadows. When I talk about hard shadows, think about somebody outside on a sunny day at 12 o'clock, 12 in the afternoon. All right, so you have the hard shadows where you see a defined line between light and shadow. Here, if you notice, there's not really a defined line that shows, okay, light now, here's where the shadow starts. You don't really know, you know there's shadows here, but if you look over here on my big forehead, you're going to see there's not like one defined. It starts around here type of thing. That's a little softer light. Okay, so you need a modifier to put in front of this guy. Now, when you talk about modifiers, when you talk about modifiers, we're talking about umbrellas, we're talking about soft boxes, we're talking about beauty dishes, we're talking about strip boxes, we're talking about mag sphere, mag bounce, snoot. I mean, there's like a whole array of things, right? Now imagine yourself starting right now and having to buy a modifier, and somebody just go buy a modifier, and you Google photography light modifier, and you're gonna get overwhelmed with stuff. What you really need to start with is this guy here, an umbrella, a cheap umbrella. This is a shoot-through umbrella. There you go. Right? This is actually a really good way to start because it's cheap. I'm going to give you prices later, right? It's cheap. So this is a shoot-through umbrella. There are two kinds of umbrellas. A shoot-through umbrella where you put the light, let me open this again. You put the light over here. This would go, so this is a light stand, this umbrella goes to the light stand, and the light you shoot through the umbrella, right? So through the umbrella, okay? And you have also the reflective umbrellas, which are usually black on the outside and silver or white on the inside. So you shoot through the umbrella, or you not shoot through, you shoot into the umbrella, and the light reflects back into your subject. All right, two ways of doing this. This is an easier and cheaper way of doing it, right? For beginners, this is great. This is how I started. This was my first light modifier. I still have it. Do I use it? No, I don't, but I still have it. And by the way, if you're watching this on Wednesday, we're going to have a live model downstairs where I'm going to try to shoot with this equipment I'm showing here today with one speed light and one umbrella, and let's see how that goes. All right, because there's some limitations with this, some challenges with this that we have to overcome. So I'm going to try to do this. So on Wednesday, we're going to have our live, it's going to be a live shooting with a model. I'm going to put the cell phone there on my countertop, and we're going to have a model here. We're going to shoot. I'm going to explain you what I'm doing, and you guys can watch it happening live. Okay, hey Marcio. So shoot through umbrella. Okay, so what are the advantages of the umbrella? It creates soft light because it's a big source, right? It's a big source of light. It's a big modifier. It creates a soft light. It's cheap. It's very cheap. I'm going to give you a price in a few minutes. It's very cheap and works very well. Easy to carry. No big deal, just roll it, put it in your bag, and off you go. What are the drawbacks of it? If you're shooting outdoors, any wind, this catches wind like a parachute. Any wind that hits the umbrella is going to drop your light. You got to be careful. All right, if you're shooting outdoors with the umbrella, it will catch wind and will drop. You will drop your light standing in the light. That's one of the drawbacks. Another drawback is that you have very little control over the light with an umbrella, because there's no way to stop the light. So the light hits the umbrella and goes all over. So you don't have a whole lot of control with your light. You can't put a grid on an umbrella to control the light spill. That is another challenge of shooting with the umbrella, especially if you are indoors. If you're outdoors, you can get away with it. But if you're indoors, it could be a little bit of a challenge. But like I said, this is a live focus on the question, what do I need to start shooting with flash? And I'm going as cheap as we can go here. All right, very cheap with equipment. I don't want you guys to spend a lot of money in the beginning, because there's a lot to learn when you move from when you start with flash. Either you are a natural light photographer or you just started with photography. There is a lot to learn, and an umbrella and a speed light is going to do wonders for you. Okay, so hey Claudião tá aqui. Millions image, how are you? Cool. So so here we have our two equipment, a speed light and umbrella. A speed light, you can use it on camera. It could use it right here. All right. Right here on camera, right? Or you can use it off camera. If you're gonna use it off camera, oh, come on, get out. If you're gonna use it off camera, like, you're gonna need two more pieces of equipment. You're gonna need a trigger, one of these guys here, because this guy now will go on the top of your camera, like this, and will fire and control several of these at the same time, right? So this goes off camera, and this guy here, the trigger, fires and controls, I think, up to 5 of this. This trigger, I think, controls up to 5 of this, which is amazing, because in the past, every time you have to change power, if you have like multiple flash set up, every time you have to change power, you have to walk to each one of the flashes and change it by hand, and then you come back, boom, take another shot. Oh, it's too bright, you got to go back again and change. Now you have those guys here that controls and triggers everything. Now the beautiful thing about this flash here, this brand that I talked to you about the Flashpoint Zoom Lion R2, is that it is a receiver and a transmitter. This guy here has a receiver and a transmitter here. What does that mean? This guy over here does the job of this guy, right? Let's say, let me explain you this way. When I'm shooting weddings, let's say I'm shooting reception, right? So everybody's dancing, first dance, blah, 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 everybody's dancing. I usually have, depending on the situation, but let's simplify. Most of the time I have 2 flashes. I have this one here on camera, on the top of the camera, like this, okay? And I have 2 across the room, like one on one end, and another one on the end, cross like this, right? So that way I need to figure out, what I need to do is to be able to control this guy and also control both of the flashes at the same time, right? So this guy here is also a transmitter. It not only receives signal, but it also works as a transmitter, sending signal to the other flashes, okay? So I can dial all my lights with this guy here on the top of my camera. Let's say, one situation, for instance, when I need to do this fast. I set up my light and I measure everything, and I put my I test my light with my subject being in the center of the dancing floor, right? Tim's, how are you, man? So in the center of the dancing floor, and then the DJ announces the bride and groom first dance, blah blah blah. And instead of staying in the center of the dancing floor, they are more to the corner, closer to one of the lights. So what's going to happen? Every shot that I get from that light into the couple is going to be much brighter than what I measured, because I measured them for them to be in the center, but they now are closer to the flash, so they're going to get more light. I need a way to dial down that light fast. So this is what I need. So I put, because this guy is on camera, this guy is also firing as a field flash, but this guy can control all the other ones. So I can just go here and figure out, okay, I know which group and channel that other flash is. I go group blah blah blah, group, let's say channel 32, group A, and I just go there and I decrease the power and off we go, right? Without having really to go to the flash and make changes, because this happens, I'll tell you, this happens all the time. So you need to have an equipment that's going to allow you to do that type of stuff. So if you're going to use the, just to track back, because I think I talked a lot here. If you're gonna use the flash off camera, the flash not on the top of your camera, you need something to trigger and control, trigger and change power on it. We could use this guy here, which is much easier to use, or you can use one of this, right? But remember, not every speed light is capable of being a receiver and a transmitter at the same time, right? That's why I think that buying your first gear and buying it right is important. It's important to know what you're buying, because you buy one time, maybe a little bit more expensive, because you're really going to find flash that cost like $50, $60, right? But you need to think, in 2-3 years, I'm going to, overpower that flash. It's not going to be useful anymore to me. I will have to buy another one. So buy something that's good, that's going to take you a long time. It's going to stay with you for a long time and work for a long time. I've had these guys here for over 5 years and no issues at all, right? So, trigger. And also, if you're going to fire your flash off camera somewhere, what do you need? You need to put the flash somewhere. You need a light stand, right? A light stand. Now, this is another thing that, why did I open this guy? I don't need this open. We can close this now. You don't have to buy expensive light stand now in the beginning, but I'll tell you what happens. Let me fold this here. It's going to make it much easier. All right, a light stand. So a flash goes in the top of the light stand, right? Controlled by this guy here. And boom, now you can carry that light all over with you. You can create dimensions, you can flat light, you can do all light patterns that you want, right? With this guy here off camera. That's why it's called an off camera flash, because it's not on camera. Let me just say hi to some people who got here. Fun, you here? Good to see you, brother. Larissa, hello. Who is here? Mahendra, I haven't seen you in a while, brother. Manuel, how's it going, my man? You've been busy, been watching your photography. Amazing, you're doing amazing work, my man. So, now let's go to the thing. How much all of this is going to cost? All right. How much all of this is going to cost? When you're talking about costs, we need to talk about Happy New Year. We need to talk about there's a cost to everything. Every time is Robert, how are you? Every time you start a business, you got to have some investment, right? You can't start a business with nothing. And one of the things that I think is really cool about photography, once you have your camera and your lenses, the investment is not really that big for the amount of money that you can make with it, right? It all depends how you run your business, but that's a whole different conversation. Okay. I listed everything, like flash, right? The speed light, the umbrella, the light stand that I just showed. What else? And the trigger. Okay, so this guy here currently on Amazon, it retails for $179. It is on the more expensive side. I know you can Google it, you can find much cheaper flashes. Point is, what you get, you get what you pay for, right? When you start shooting with flash, you have to be concerned about some stuff. One of them is the recycling time. What's the recycling time? Let's first of all, what is recycling time? Recycling time is the time that the flash takes to come back and be able to shoot again. Let's say you shoot one picture, it go like poof, and everything here in the center, inside the flash go like ooh, and it takes some time for you to go back and poof and take another one. Recycling time, right? Which the bags to carry all of this. That's right, Claudia. Now that is the manual. That's the Flashpoint model. Zoom Lion. I use Flashpoint. I don't use Godox, which is the same thing, just a different name. So recycling time. So what happens is that sometimes we look at 1 second as recycling time. When you're shooting, 1 second not being able to shoot with flash, it could be a lot. Think about a bride coming down the aisle, right? You need to be able to go and boom, 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 boom all the time, because you never know what's going to happen, right? So you need to be ready. So if you take a shot and it takes 1 second, you may miss some moments that's not going to happen again. So recycling time needs to be good. Also something called the guide number, which is how much this has 50 watts pretty much, almost of them, but how far the light goes, which is the guide number. It's not something to worry about right now. But the key to this flash, why I say it's worth $179, is because it works as a receiver and a transmitter, and it's also TTL and manual. Again, a lot of people join later. TTL means through the lenses. It's just auto. Think of it as an auto way to handle the flash. You don't have to handle it. The camera measures the light, sends a command to the flash saying this is how much light we did to light this scene, and it's automatic mode for the flash. All right, which some people love it. I hate it. I don't use it, but it's just me. Okay, so the fact that this is a transmitter and a receiver, it's amazing, because today you're going to start with one flash, and pretty soon you're going to start adding more and more flashes and different lights to your system, and then you're going to need to start controlling these lights differently in different ways, and this one has the capacity of controlling those lights. All right, so $179 for this guy. And another thing I need to say, because we have a bunch of several people who join later, I'm talking about those brands. I have no affiliation with them. I'm not sponsored by any of them. I'm not an ambassador for any of them. This is just gear that I use. I grabbed this from my camera bag and showing you. This is the gear that I use every day in my photography. But it's impossible to talk about this stuff and not talk about brands. Okay, so $179 for this guy. One umbrella will cost you anything in between $10 to $30. All right, I put $30 here, probably the more expensive. Okay, anything between $10 and $30. One light stand, not this one. This one might be a little bit more expensive because it folds. This is a traveling light stand. I use this light stand when I shoot like abroad, like I have a wedding in Mexico next year, and also have a wedding in Jamaica next year. So this is the kind of light stand that I use that fits inside my bag. A little bit more expensive, but light stands, you're looking at about $50 for a light stand now. Okay, about $50. What else are we looking at? The trigger is another little bit expensive. Trigger costs $70. But again, this guy fires and controls your lights. It's really cool to fire, but you need to have something that's going to control the light. Otherwise, oh, it's too bright. You have to walk all the way to the light to turn it down. Can you imagine that? I mean, let's say you're doing your first dance. First dance today, I mean, couples don't want to, hardly ever. I mean, it's really hard to, I don't remember the last wedding that I shot that a couple danced the whole song, the full song on the first dance. They're usually doing like 30 seconds of the song, or maybe like once in a while you get like somebody's going to do 1 minute. Let's say you fire the flash, and then so the couple is dancing. They're going to do a 30 second first dance, and you fire your flash. Oh, there's too much light. You're going to walk all the way over there to turn the flash down and come back. First dance is over. You missed the moment, right? When you start shooting weddings, you start looking at stuff like, I need to get it right first time, because there's no do-over. It's one of the few things that you cannot do over. If you screw it up, if you miss a moment, you missed it. There's no do-over. You can't go back and say, can you do the first dance again? It doesn't work this way, right? That's why you need to have an equipment, like something like this, that not only fires, but also controls, because then you look, oh, it's too bright. You go here, which channel, boom, 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 and you rotate this button here, and you're good to go. All right? No going nowhere. All right, trigger, $70. One of the things that I put here on my list that I didn't talk about was a sandbag. What's a sandbag? Like I said, these guys are great and everything, but they catch a lot of wind when you're outside. When you shoot outdoors, it catches a lot of wind. Will fly, will drop your flash in your light stand. It will. Has happened to me. Happens to everybody. Not everybody, but a lot of people. Right? So what we do, we put a sandbag on the light stand, so if the wind catches, it doesn't drop it, right? Sandbags are cheap, like $10 plus the sand. All right. Adding all of this, we're down to $339. That's how much all of this is. $179 for the flash, $30 for the umbrella, $50 for the light stand, $10 for the sandbag, and $70 for the trigger. $339. It happened to you, Alex. Yeah, that sucks, man. $339. Tell me, which business can you start with $300 today? In equipment. Of course, you're going to invest in education, right? I know you will. But with $339, you can start as a flash photographer and create amazing images if you know how to control the flash. Right? And also, there's another thing, another caveat I'm going to give to you. You don't have to take it off camera right away. You can start just on camera, right? This guy here, you put this on camera, you can start right here. The only challenge that you're going to find is that if you're shooting outdoors, you don't have where to bounce the flash. Because if I'm shooting here in this room, right? First thing when I'm going to shoot indoors, I look to the ceiling. I have a white ceiling. Great. I can bounce the light over there. The light becomes bigger and softer. Right? Just like you see here on me. Light and shadow, soft transition. Right? So I can bounce in the flash. I can bounce it off the walls. I can bounce it on the back. I do this a lot, actually. I bounce off the back wall. Right? But you limit it to shoot inside. There is a way to shoot this outside, but you're going to need a reflector. You bounce off the reflector. Okay? But if you don't want to go to buy the trigger, if you don't want to go to buy the light stand, if you don't want to go to buy the umbrella, you can start right here, $179. Right? Camera and $179. Camera lens, of course, $179. Right? And this is great. You know why? Because when you don't have all the equipment, you figure out a way to make it happen, right? One thing that I noticed that I got once I got like more, I don't think the word is successful, but once I got more clients and once my business got established and buying gear financially is not a challenge anymore, I've noticed that I don't know if I got lazy or what it is, but it's not cutting corners. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like I don't have to think about how I'm going to do this with the light that I have, because I have all kinds of light that I need now, right? If I walk into somewhere where there's too much light here for the flash, I need something bigger, I bring my ADs 200, which are bigger. Oh, the ADs 200 not doing it, I'm doing a sunset, bring the 600, right? But let's say if you're doing a sunset picture and all you have is this, you have to come up with a way to do it, right? So it makes you think harder, it makes you learn faster, right? And that's, I think it is a great thing, because that's how I started. I started with like one flash and one umbrella. I told you this was my very first light modifier, and I used this a lot. I remember my very first photo shoot with this guy was in Washington DC, right? I have not a whole lot of idea. I think I bought this umbrella in DC when I was there. Yeah, I didn't have a whole lot of idea what I was doing at the time, and I bought this guy here, said I'm going to try this, and went out and shoot. I had a photo shoot there, right? And went well, went okay. But yeah, it works. So, and what we're going to do here actually on Wednesday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern time again, we're going to go downstairs with a model. I already secured the model. It's hard to get a model. I already secured one. I'm going to go downstairs with her and try to do a photo shoot with one umbrella and one speed light. Just the same gear that I'm showing you here, just to show you that it's possible. It's not me, you know, BSing you my way through this. I'm going to show you that it is possible to do this. Okay? So, here it is. This is what I wanted to talk to you about today, because there's way more. I planned a whole lot more stuff, but it's already 8:53. Because I got this question, what do I need to start with Flash? Because like I said in the beginning, there's so much stuff out there today that people don't know what to buy. All right. So I want to give you guys, and I know this is like a very beginners, and I know that we have more experienced, advanced people here, but we need to be thoughtful of the people who are starting out. So we all started somewhere, right? And I want this channel to be, I want this Instagram to be for everybody, for people who are more advanced, for people who are beginners. Sometimes we talk about advanced topics like gel and that type of stuff, creative light, use like 1, 2, 3, 4 light setup, and sometimes we need to go back and talk about take care of the beginners also, because nobody's going to get where we want to be if they don't start somewhere, right? So let me ask you a question. Just pick on my screen here. Last week you guys said my 808 with clay sign here was backwards. Is it fixed today? Let me know if it's still backwards. I don't think it is. Well, it's backwards and look this way. Mick, how's it going? Yeah, Marcio, you're the one who said that my sign was backwards. Is it backward? Is it still backwards? Oh, it's fixed. All right. I was like, damn, it is fixed. You like my other sign there? I bought the little, it's the PlayStation control thing. Yeah, so it's kind of cute. I have some other stuff to put in there that I bought. All right, guys. Well, thanks for letting me know. Right? Cool. Pretty cool. All right, guys. This is what I wanted to talk to you about. And it says 808 with clay, Manuel. All right, 808 with clay. That's our hashtag. Now we can read it as if we didn't know before. All right, guys. Well, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I hope this was helpful for some of you. And two things that I want to ask you. Share this with a friend that is starting with photography. Let's help the photography community. Share this live with them. And if you're watching this on YouTube later on, give us a subscribe to our channel, because we go live twice a week, and every day, every single day, we have new content on our Instagram, Clay Souza Official, and also on our YouTube channel, which is Clay Souza Official. I would really appreciate your subscribe and follow us for more content on photography. All right, and don't forget, next Wednesday at 8:08 p.m. not next Wednesday, this Wednesday, is coming Wednesday, after tomorrow, at 8:08 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to do a live shooting with a model trying to use this. And I keep saying trying because I'm going to be inside shooting an umbrella. And remember that I said there's no way to control light with the umbrella, light spill with the umbrella. So let's see how well we can do this with the umbrella. If not, we bring a softbox and solve it. Okay, so don't forget, Wednesday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be with a model downstairs doing photography, live shooting, where you can ask your questions. So prepare your questions, come prepared, and let's do this. All right? Yeah, get into portraits. Portraits is fun. My story is that I started shooting motorcycle races. That's how I started with photography, and I love motorcycle races because the rider's over there, and I don't have to talk to nobody, and the rider comes 30 times around, right? So I have like 30 chances to make it right. So when I start getting to portraits, I was a little bit anxious, but I love it. I really love it. Interaction with people is great. And on Wednesday, you're going to see a live shooting where I'm going to just sit the camera over there, just like I do here, a camera over the countertop, and I'm going to work with the model. You guys are going to see me lighting. You guys are going to see me shooting and posing and directing. It's the whole shebang in one single live. All right, so, and prepare your questions. If you have questions that you want me to answer, send me a DM, write them down, and let's all learn together. Okay, so thank you so very much for coming. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here every week with me. I have no words to say thank you to you guys. Have a great night. Enjoy. If you are upstate, stay warm. And for my Florida and California folks, I hope you guys are nice and warm there. It's getting cold over here. All right, guys, thank you so very much, and don't forget to share this live with a friend. Okay, have a great night, guys. Bye.